I was like, what?
I know, right? Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today?
Let's
Oh,
get it.
Hoodies.
hoodies in
Right.
the house. There's some hoodies in the house. All
Hey.
right, there's some hoodies in the house. Gee, I don't see the comments over here. You know, them comments have set things on fire for real.
Oh, yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, and
Let's
welcome
do it.
to the Lavern Spicer. We had the hood for the last minute.
Oh, the,
Ah!
that's too funny.
Yeah,
So
y'all had some hood from that last. Oh man, that's the truth. They had some real hood from that last administration.
Oh,
Welcome,
God.
Trevian. Welcome, Leticia, and we have a very special guest that's coming on today. We're trying to see how much
I'm
time right
working
now.
on
We
getting
have
her. I'm working on getting them in here right now.
Okay. Well, right now we have over 700 people on this show, y'all, that are in
Woo
here.
woo.
Woo, woo, woo,
Let's
woo,
do it.
woo, woo. And I want to say Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year, and thank you all. Last week I had a little cold, little allergy. We are in Miami, and it's always so much
Ooh.
stuff in the air here. We got COVID, we got the flu, we got HS, whatever, and a lot of mixtures of stuff, including allergies that's floating around in this air. So it was not happening, but glad to say at least it's warm here compared to everywhere else. I know y'all got snow and uh,
Fire.
fires and every damn thing else. And but we're gonna go ahead on and get this ball rolling.
So,
We're gonna get it rolling.
G, can you send me a direct link for Judge for him to get around the security setting? But we are going to talk about California. Judge Joe Brown had a beautiful home in California for many, many years. He's very apt on what is happening in California right now. We also need to talk about Karen Bass
Oh
because
yeah.
we have to think about, the fallout from her poor decisions. Gavin Newsom, poor decisions.
Yep.
People who own the water supply and sell it back to the American people when it was the American people's water in the first place.
Yeah.
So we've got
That's like the dumbest shit right there. I mean, the things that we are hearing in today's world is so fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
so
So fucking
California's water.
unbelievable.
California's water is privately owned.
Wow.
So now the citizens of that state have to pay for water, which was everything that was built, all the dams, all the reservoirs were built with taxpayer dollars.
Oh yeah.
So now the American public in California has to pay for their waters. They can't put out fires because they don't have any water because
Yep.
the water's not running.
And that is the most like craziest shit that you can even imagine. Yesterday I was listening to the radio and I heard them say that with the wildfire and people was driving right down the street and the fire was like everywhere and these people just stopped, parked their cars and jumped out the other
Yep.
vehicles and just started running, for their life.
Yep.
So
For their life.
you know what? I'm going to go out and come back in because I'm going to walk Judge through
Okay.
getting on the show.
So we're gonna keep talking. Me and
right.
Leticia got this. So and it's just horrible what we see. And this also goes to show about poor leadership.
Yeah.
People you gotta hold these politicians accountable
Yeah.
because this is your elected official who shortchanged the fucking budget by $17 fucking million. You know what I mean?
I will say this. They tried really, really hard, especially this last two times on the recall. I was very, very involved. It's just impossible to get rid of Gavin Newsom. We need some real help here in California. And I mean, Donald Trump, his administration, and Elon Musk's money. We need all boots on the ground. And then this clown is talking about running in 2028. No. That's why nobody voted for Kamala, because nobody wanted her to California or America. It's shit like this that they do that people don't trust him at all.
And
He's got money for illegals. Him and Karen Bass just made this a sanctuary city and Trump-proof LA. You got all these billions for illegals and we ain't got no water?
y'all ain't got no motherfucking water, but
What
they got.
in the
Wait. How much was they giving illegals there? Like $30,000.
when you got here to LA, somewhere downtown LA by Skid Row on Figueroa, they were handing out preloaded Visa cards with $3,400. You got 2 months of Uber ride codes for
free. You freeze it. I'm gonna carry it on, and it's just amazing. They had all the resources always available for these illegal fucking aliens. You was freezing. So, but go ahead on.
Yeah, so when you get off the bus over there, which you're flown in by American taxpayer dollar all across the country, when you're flown into these sanctuary states like California, Chicago, New York, and Oregon, they have vouchers waiting for you. I can speak on the ones for LA because I'm out here now. I'm currently out here. I've been out here for a minute, and they give them the prepaid debit cards, which are loaded with over $3,000. They got a temporary EBT card for food stamps. I think it was 5,142 food stamps. I can't even qualify working part time, and I was born here in America. I can't get a hotel voucher when I moved back here in May and needed a place to stay and didn't get a job yet to 2 weeks later. I didn't qualify. I, as an American, did not qualify. And I'm like, how? Making minimum wage. I got a birth certificate and I'm from here. And that's what they do. Their leadership leads California into the effing ground. Gavin Newsom will never be president. They need to recall him immediately. Elon
And
Musk and
they
any
need to recall Karen as well.
look, anybody who has ties to somebody on the Trump administration or Elon Musk, I will proudly get it together for you. We need some real money to back the people to go door to door. That's all we need is money to back the people. Have these people going door to door. A lot of people will be more than happy to miss work and go knock door to door in their counties to get this clown recall. There's people dying in that area where the two fires are. You go on TikTok and people are leaving their house. They can't get their stuff, important things that they need. They're dying. They're not even making it down the road. They're leaving their cars. There's nowhere to run to. It's just nowhere to go. But
You
yet,
know,
when you get
when
off
it
the
comes to a fire like that, your life is the most important thing. A lot of that material stuff you may be able to get back, but you can never get back your life.
yeah,
You know, so people need to say just like you did. We need those funds available for people to go door to door. And now that people have lost, a lot of people lost everything that they had. You
everything.
know, so they got enough ammunition now to take these ignorant motherfuckers on. G, can you run that clip for me with Karen Bass, please? And I can't see the chat. But hello to everybody that's on the show and welcome. Welcome. I can't see your comments, but welcome.
They're probably going off too. Shit, no water for the American people in California. What the?
No food, not a damn thing. Can't even help the people still that are freezing. People are still dying in the Carolinas, and
Oh, this is
they
a good one.
now. But go ahead, G, run that clip.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
A disgrace, just an utter disgrace.
So
Say something. She can say anything.
She's ignoring this reporter. She's not answering anyone's question. And let's say 12.8 billion, which is a 2.3 decrease from the current fiscal year. This lady is not answering anybody's question. She's acting like a dementia patient. And, this is totally unexcusable. What she is totally responsible for this.
Yep.
She's responsible.
Along with Gavin Newsom.
She's responsible for their losses. She's responsible for everything. Her and Gavin, Newsom, are very much responsible.
While he's in his new $10 million home in Mill Valley, while California burns the fuck down. Trump on day one, please Tom Holman, I was there with you 2 weeks ago at AmFest. I heard what you said. You were going straight to Chicago, but can we do a U-turn and come straight to California? We are crumbling right now. California is in crisis. I heard exactly what you said at AmFest. I will be in Chicago because the mayor doesn't want me there. I will be there. But right now we have a serious crisis in California. We are burning to the ground. People are losing their lives while California governor sits behind his $10 million tax funded home in Mill Valley. That's
And
where
he
he's
right
at.
now, he's sitting there comfortable having no fucks to give. He
Giving,
has
taking
zero
pictures.
fucks to give.
He went over there to the fires yesterday, took a picture, and left. While stumbling, mumbling Joe got on TV talking about, well, I was a great grandpa. What the hell does that have to do with where you put America in the last 4 years? Why would you come and even talk about that?
It's so amazing because with the disasters, that we have been having here, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's an earthquake, whether it's whatever that storm has been, these people have showed no type of like remorse about anything. They have truly shown the American people that they do not give a fuck about them at
More or
all.
less, that's exactly what's going on. There's that pic right there. Let me take a picture and point out the fire. We know where the fire is. We don't need you to point at it.
Fucking point at it. We could see the fucking fire. We don't need elected officials that are posing for photo ops. We need people that are going to work for we the
I'm
people.
muted.
And especially, you're mute. I can hear you. And especially for the ones that have voted for them in the first place.
My mic is muted.
We can hear you. I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Oh. Thank you, Kelly. Welcome, y'all. Welcome. Hey, Vinny. Hello, y'all. Welcome on in this room. AKA Linda. Can you hear me now?
I still can't hear you.
We having some technical difficulties here. I think our mic is muted. But anyway, this is what we don't need in office. This is what we do not need. We need people that are that y'all need to hold them accountable. You need to hold them accountable.
Can you guys hear me? I can't hear you guys.
I can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah, but so anyway, I guess we lost her too. Okay, I'm in the room by myself. So anyway, this is a total disaster. And I'm hoping seriously that the people would do what they need to do to get rid of these people that are not effective at all in no type of way. In no type of way. You back?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay.
What did I miss? What are people saying about the governor?
I'm sure most of them saw what was taking place and they saw what was going on, but this is like a joke. It's a joke. It is. And we are waiting for Judge Joe Brown to join us today. Okay. And Trevian is walking him through, so maybe they'll be in soon, but me and you gonna keep this thing going. So also, I saw that, and G, I sent you the clip. What's taking place inside of the school system is totally ridiculous. I saw that we had a teacher in Georgia. This man, he was wearing earrings and lipstick, right? And he's a teacher in the classroom. None to say the less. So the little child called him Mr. Lady. Wow. And he got offended and slapped the kid. But what kids are, they gonna say, basically whatever comes out. That's how kids are. and the kid called him a Mr. Lady, and he slapped the child. And
I would have broke his
I
damn neck. I would have broke his
know that,
damn neck.
right?
Next
He
motherfucking day.
he would have had 4 foot up his ass.
That part.
That's ridiculous. G, do you have that clip that I'm talking about? G,
Maybe he can't hear you.
he probably left me. But anyway, back to that fire. They have no water in the fire hydrants. They have no money in FEMA.
Which doesn't
And
surprise me. They just gave how much? 500
billion
billion to
to Ukraine.
this administration is a joke. I don't
A
think we
big
need to wait till the 20th. Tell you the truth. I mean, people need to storm the damn country now and they done fuck around. The Democrats done fucked around too much, and they need to find out this is America. If you want to live in a third world country, rewind, cross the border, and go on that side. You want to put other people first? Go run for president that way. Go that way.
Yep, hit that road. Hit that road. You know, and pray us up for the people. I want to say pray us up for the people in California. And I hope that you all can truly recover for that. But we need to get rid of Newsom, who's turning that California into a third world country.
He has been since he was reelected, supposedly the second time, which the numbers didn't match at all because there was way too many signatures for the recall not to go through. I was in that office 3 days a week counting them. There's no way there was not enough signatures for the recall. Once again, Trump administration, all we need is some boots to the ground people, which we have. And hey, you're back.
Yeah,
You're back.
I was trying to walk through the motions with Judge Brown, and so we're going to see if he can sign in on my sign in since he doesn't have a Gmail in which to sign on StreamYard. So
Oh,
we'll see
okay.
what happens.
We were
Yeah.
just
And he's
discussing.
banned on Facebook. He can't sign in that way. He's banned on YouTube, so he can't sign in that way. So, yeah,
What
that's
in the
yeah. They've
well,
got him banned everywhere. He can't even get on these platforms. It's crazy.
Mark Zuckerberg, you're supposed to be on this side, so fix that. Mark Zuckerberg, hey, you want to show you made mistakes with the 2020 election censoring everybody? Well, guess the F what? Now is your time to prove to the conservative people that you are half okay in the brain. Start unbanning everybody. This shit don't make no damn sense.
You know, it was so interesting because my husband is he loves to post on Facebook. And everything he put out there, they put him in Facebook jail. So he was always writing them. He was always arguing with them, and he couldn't say anything, just simple shit. They was banning the hell out of him.
Yeah, they had key words on there. If you said Trump, interference, election, anything like that, those were flag words. If you try to talk about the 2020 election, you were done. Those words got you in Facebook jail. That's why I don't even mess with Facebook anymore. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't neither. My platform is X.
That's the only conservative spot you can actually be.
What we got here?
Is that the one about the school?
No, it's about the fire
Oh,
hydrant.
God.
The firefighters trying to use the fire hydrant, highlighting the severe water shortage. Oh my God! Kelly said she's banned on Facebook also. Oh wow!
And they have a shortage of firefighters because
Hey OG,
they fired the ones that didn't want to get the COVID shot. So now they're scrambling for firefighters in California. Well, that's what the fuck you get. You want to fire people because they don't want to do what you want them to do, and now you guys are struggling. Why don't you use them migrants? They're sitting in the fucking best hotels eating lobster and crab. They got a fucking iPhone 16, 17, 18, and 19. What's the problem? Make them do
and
some work.
plenty of money to buy food. So food isn't an issue there, you know. So wow. Kelly said they fired 117 firefighters. 117 firefighters.
Yeah, they wouldn't comply with the COVID shot and they fired him. And now Newsom is looking around like, where's all the firefighters? I don't know where they are, but I know where they're not. They're not over there fighting that fire because you
Damn
fired
sure
them.
it's doing
I
You
mean,
fired them.
are they burning it down just to get the FEMA money? Like, you have to think
There's
about.
no money. There is no money.
So
There's
then,
no money in California.
what would be the purpose for them cutting their firefighter budget? $17.1 million. What
Well,
is the purpose? What did you do with that money? Where did
well, he
that
just
money
moved.
go?
He just moved 4 weeks ago to a $10 million home in Mill Valley. So I think I have a pretty good idea
Where that money
where that
is?
money went. That and then the EBT cards for the illegals. So I'm pretty sure we can pinpoint, like I said, if we get Elon Musk down here to back the Californians with his money and bring the Trump administration with the military, we can force these people out. They are not elected officials. California turned red a long time ago, but we don't have the resources here and the power. We don't have the money. The regular citizens, we just can't do it. I was very active on the recall. I don't know how this man is still governor and now he wants to run for the president in 2028.
That's
I
a
I, I,
joke.
I
I
mean,
mean
They
that
burning
when
the
we're
Nicole said they're burning the tunnels. It's and what was the comment before that one?
Well, they have fully
Before that.
equipped Ukrainian fire station for them to be prepared for anything at any moment when our fire departments across the country, their budgets are being cut. So California has sent their, fair share of that $17 million to Ukraine.
yeah,
Ukraine's fire department is top tier, up to
yeah,
par, ready to
yeah,
go.
true.
So
That's
it's a sad thing to see it. But
Tom Homan. Let's send these elected officials where they sent their money. Let's send them to Ukraine. That's Tom Homan. When you get to California, can you do the Californians? Can you do us that favor? All these clowns who sent our money to Ukraine, can we please send them to Ukraine?
Exactly. We have to
Okay,
do
they're
something.
saying in the comments they said Gavin closed 100 dams, so no water has been so low cost. Closures of dams, all cost of type. Well,
Of the
type
fish he wanted to save.
save. Yeah,
That's true. Yeah,
save.
that's true.
So now look.
So now the
So
fish are alive. The fish are alive, and the people are dead.
he's more concerned about saving a fucking fish than he is the constituents that voted for him.
Well, you got to remember those fish people gave him money for his campaign. So
Yeah.
he don't give a shit about the fish. If
And
you look behind the people funding what he gave money to, right? It was a circle. He gave money to them. They doubled it up and gave it back to him when it's time for him to be reelected for
It's
governor.
always
That's
a
what
circle.
happened there.
That's the way it works. It's
That's
always a circle.
yeah. So now the fish are alive and children and parents are dead and their homes are burned to the ground. So yay
Right to the
Newsom.
ground.
well, I mean, who's going to be held accountable for this? That's what we need to see. Is it going to be Karen Bass? Who's going to be the fall guy? Because there always has to be a fall guy.
But who's on top of her is Newsom. Yeah, a lot of people are pretty pissed off at her, me included. But who is her boss? That's why
Newsom, Newsom is going to be the fall guy.
if we get the Trump administration out here and get some Elon Musk money out here, why would he not be held accountable? We don't have the money and the resources in California to push back. That's been the problem the whole time. But I think America listened when we spoke and voted for Trump. Everybody here voted for Trump. That's why the state was flipped.
So insurance companies drop their fire insurance coverage for their clients right before this disaster directly in the Palisades. So when we talk about all these things that don't add up, there's a reason that they don't add up. That's why I'm trying to figure out what was the purpose for them to allow California to burn down. There's always a reason. This is not just an act of God.
And they're not telling you who lives behind those gates. That's part two.
If they dropped all of this before it happened, that looks like they knew it was coming.
Exactly.
It's same thing as 9/11.
Exactly.
So that's how when you start, putting the pieces together, you have to look at who's getting the money, who tipped off the insurance companies that this was coming. President Trump
Yep.
did in his interview with Joe Rogan. He was like, you don't want to go clean up all this dead brush out there when you have these type of fires consistently.
Yep.
And you just, keep putting on building, for this type of situation to happen. So somebody knows something. A lot of people know something.
A lot of people
A
know
lot of
something.
people know something because this was just all too convenient for these
Yep.
fires to be set like that.
Mhm.
Here, people are now, you have arsonists starting fires throughout California. Hollywood Hills is on
Yep.
fire now, which is strange because how do you get from the Palisades to Hollywood Hills? I mean, I spent a lot of time in Hollywood Hills. I know getting across that road is something different.
Have you been on Twitter where a lot of human trafficking survivors are putting that picture up of Hollywood burning, but it says Petalwood. And you notice the news is not telling you who lives behind those gates, what producers, what city officials, and what politicians. And I'm trying to think of, well, why won't they just tell us who lives back there?
You know
Because
why they want to tell you the
are
money,
the
the power, the
conspiracy
people.
theorists
Money,
correct about
power,
the
money,
Well,
power.
I
trafficking?
mean, Oprah has a house in Malibu and Santa Barbara, so it's like, look, we know
And Hawaii.
her house
Did not
avoided
burn.
being burned down in Hawaii. We have to look at it. There's something always behind
Oh
a
yeah.
situation like this.
Oh yeah.
We just don't get a chance to find out until 10 years later. The
Yeah.
same way we found out the person who owned the World Trade Building took out, $2 billion insurance on the building right before 9/11
Yeah.
happened. These things,
Wow.
you had I don't know how many Jewish people that didn't go to work that day. We get all this information late.
And then people don't do their research. They want to know why you're talking about it because you obviously research it, you know it's true and you're speaking about it. There's a lot of people that like to say, "Oh, the far right are conspiracy theorists and, they're crazy." But they don't take the time to verify what you just said. And that is
Right.
absolutely true
And you
about
know
9/11.
why?
I had Richard Gage on my show and he spoke about 9/11 and a lot of people don't know that. But,
It's
they
true.
always say MAGA's crazy.
Oh,
But you
we're
know what?
always the
The
crazy
thing
ones.
is this, right? See, y'all got to realize, especially us, a lot of people stay home all day. They watch the same news
Yeah.
stations
Over
all
and over
day.
again.
Yep.
They don't do their due diligence to look at other stations. So they have been programmed what to think.
True.
They have been programmed what to believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a sad life. It's like being a
I
robot.
mean, when you sit there and hold conversations with people and you start talking about certain things and, they just look at you like,
Yep.
what in the hell are you talking about? That's because they don't know what's taking place out here. Like people don't know that after that fire in Hawaii, how many fucking kids vanished from Hawaii
Yep.
that they are saying they don't know where they are.
Exactly.
And what happened over the 500,000 kids that are missing? Where are those kids at?
And that behind the hills. That's why the hills are being set on fire. They're behind the hills and under those tunnels. You can't have different people from different parts of the country telling you that they were trafficked to the United States at a specific museum by a specific producer who produces all these rap clowns, and then voila, a lot of these homes start getting on fire. That to me is not a conspiracy. That's not a conspiracy. It's like what? You have over 200 million children from different parts of the United States and outside of the United States saying that they were sold, brought to these big mansions with these big producers. I don't know. I don't think so. That is 100% correct. When you have different victims on the different political sides with different religious views and different walks of life, all saying the same thing about the same area, you better bet your ass it's true.
Well,
Bottom
I
line.
mean, now where are all of these displaced people going to go? That's another question. What aid is going to be provided, just like in North Carolina, just like during Hurricane Katrina, what aid is going to be provided for these people who are displaced throughout,
You know,
LA and
They
California.
set them up in a high school, in the high schools. Meanwhile, the illegals are still in hotels right now. If you
There
Google
you
it,
have
G,
it.
if you Google it, G, they are in the high schools and they are at recreation areas. While all illegals still have their hotel vouchers. If you go and Google the radio stations for Southern California, they're going to tell you the same thing. They are placing Americans in high school gyms.
Yes, Judge.
No phone, no food, cards, no DoorDash for them and their children. No nurses are on site. There's no FEMA. There's no Red Cross. There's not one red dime for Californians. Meanwhile,
Okay.
the illegals are
are
living their best
showering in a five-star hotel on
life. Right.
our dime.
On our dime.
Okay.
This is ridiculous.
You know, this is so
Uh,
unbelievable
I'm trying
because
to
no
figure
other
out.
country
Uh,
would take people in
None.
and put those people over there citizen. No
None.
other country was doing. Not even a fucking third world country would take
Nobody.
anybody in and put them over their own fucking citizen. So why is it that the elected officials that are in power are turning their head for the against the same ones that voted for them in this first place?
Well, they're not
Especially
elected
in
this time.
California.
They're selected. The last
Oh,
4 years
I
was a
forgot.
joke.
Okay,
They're selected.
selected,
It's a joke.
selected.
We got to where we are today at this very time because in 2020 nobody wanted to do anything about the stolen election. So now we see the consequences of voting for your own race when they come to the hood and ask you to vote against the other party who stands for your values, your family, and keeping your own dollar. That's how we got to where we are. California is where they are with this governor and these clowns that are selected because all the minorities wanted to listen to the rappers that were going making commercials. Get the COVID shot to save California. Get the COVID shot if you love your grandma. Then they fucked around and died, and you elected these clowns, and now you got pedophiles in the school. Newsom telling you he doesn't know where your $500 billion is while he's in Mill Valley, and he brags about his mother-in-law suite that he has behind his house. I think that's where we should send all the people from the Pacific Palisades.
I'm sure they would love to stay there.
Gavin Newsom has room for you guys in his $10 million home in Mill Valley. Everything can't
You
fall
know,
on Karen Bass. Yes, she's the mayor, but who is her boss?
that is why so many people turned out to vote and support in the hood Donald Trump. That's the
Exactly.
reason why. Because people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We're sick and tired of
Exactly.
these clown fucking shows. We're sick and
Yep.
tired of all the foolishness. We sick and tired of their ass putting the fucking illegals first. You know, we're sick and tired of our veterans staying in the motherfucking streets.
Yep.
We're sick and tired of our seniors not having food to eat while we watching these other people parade they motherfucking
Yep.
ass across that border,
Yep.
live their best life, staying in 5-star hotels and up above, you know, staying in these luxury ass places and receiving all type of subsidies that the people that need it here can't even
Yeah.
fucking qualify for it.
Yep. Free sex changes in California. You got free medical, dental, vision without showing an ID, a birth certificate, or a social security card. That's what is being done here in California. Free sex changes, which I don't know why that doesn't upset the trans people that transitioned over the age of 18 and 21 and 25 where they were working 2 and 3 jobs to get that sex change, which I don't care what you do with your body. I just don't want to pay for it. And we shouldn't be doing
Right.
that to minors. But they should have spoke the loudest for Donald Trump. How do you have illegal immigrants coming to sanctuary states like California, New York, Chicago, and Oregon getting free sex changes? You trans people should have been the loudest speaking up for Donald Trump when you guys worked your ass off 3 and 4 jobs to do, like I said, do what you want with your body. It's your body, your choice. Just don't use my taxpayer money. And don't talk to the children if you're school teachers on what you do at home, and we will have no problem. But again, they should have been the loudest voice for Donald Trump because they're taxpayers. They're taxpayers, and the media has them looking all kinds of crazy right now, and not showing, the ones that they don't want to give their money to illegals that come here to get a sex change. That shit like
And
that is just, come on, people, do
what
your
about
homework.
what about also about the prisoners that Kamala put up the funds so the prisoners can also have the funds to have a sex change.
If you can go on Google right now in California, there's two trans that are in, one is in the county jail in LA. The other three are in a women's facility. I want to say it's either Chowchilla or the other detention center, but you can Google it. There's a class action lawsuit going on currently today because these men that Kamala and the Biden clown administration and Gavin Newsom put into the women's prisons have been raping the women. I hear two of them are pregnant right now.
But probably more than that.
They're pregnant by that trans person. Again, I have no problem with trans people, but if you have a penis, you don't belong in a female prison because that just, yeah, come on, America.
And
I
you
don't know.
damn sure don't belong in the female bathroom. Take your ass to the other bathroom when you belong at.
And that's why Kamala didn't win because her, Scott Weiner, and Gavin Newsom all pushed this agenda back in 2019, 2017 on we need to respect children's rights. If they feel like a boy, we're going to push the counselors not to tell their parents that we're allowing them who are girls to change in the boys locker room and vice versa. This is ridiculous. We need prosecutions over payments. All they do here in California is pass you a check. Did you go to that school? Was your teacher this gym teacher? Did you go to that juvenile hall facility? Come on, America, do better. Trump, California is really in crisis right now. If you would Google some of these class actions, the things that the governor is letting people get away with, pedophiles are the most protected people in California. If you
And
thought
that is the reason.
but if you thought the illegals had it, step into California, Trump, and start doing your homework on what Gavin Newsom gives these pedophiles when they get out of prison. First of all, they change their identity. They're not called pedophiles.
Hold on. G, can you let Trevian in, please? Go ahead, Leticia.
Yeah, we need some homework done here. From the Trump administration when you guys step into office on day one. Pedophiles in California are the number one protected class in California. They get hotel vouchers. They have a pilot program. There's about 6 or 7 of them in every neighborhood in a 6-bedroom house next to a school. They have a silent offenders. They have a silent offenders program. There's a silent offenders program where if you had pictures in your phone of a child, but you didn't go to jail for molesting or raping one, you can still work at the after school program. All this can be fact checked.
Okay, but wait. Listen.
Just fact check it.
All of this is going on, right? So what about the parents? Where is the outrage from the parents?
There's a lot of people not paying attention. If you go and Google it right now, Los Angeles School District.
Hello.
Hey, Trevian.
So Judge can't get on, but I have him on another phone.
Okay.
He is going to let everybody know that he will be Judge. Okay, so they can hear you now.
All right. I wish I could hear them.
Welcome, Judge, to the Lavern Spicer Hood Conservative Show.
All right. Hello, ladies. How are you? I'm having difficulties. You guys have a security block on your system that requires that I have something I don't have on mine, and I can't get in, never could. So we will try a different service next time and see if I can get on.
Well, we thank you for coming in today, and I had informed everyone that you were formerly a resident of California and wanted to get your take on what you think is happening right now with these fires.
Okay, I can give you a little rundown on that real quickly. I grew up in California, kindergarten through law school, and I came back, and I remember 60-some years ago when I was in high school, we used to go on these hiking trips up to the various parks and such like, and you had all of these fire breaks, fire roads, and cleared underbrush that had occurred 25-some years before under the WPA Works Progress Administration, and then kept it up. Now, my ex and I used to like go hiking, and in the last decade, couple of decades, we've gone back to some of the same places, and the fire roads were broken up or narrowed down to little trails, and the fire breaks were non-existent, a lot of underbrush, and had been built up, and that does not help. Another thing, I had an arbitration proceeding on my show, and there was a fire marshal who was there as a witness, and I got into the storyline that they were telling me. And when I analyzed it, I said, something's wrong, and I said to the defendant, I said, I tell you what, it looks like you and the people you're working with are running a scam because you tried to burn down these areas because you want to develop them as real estate, and you could get them dirt cheap when they're burnt down. So a few months later, I got a call back from the Fire Marshals Association out in California, and they said, thank you very much. We analyzed the evidence from what the perspective was that you gave us, and we are proceeding in indictments against, I think it was 10 or 15 people for millions of dollars in damages that they had caused because they were committing arson to get these properties. The other thing is, too, one of the big third point, I'll bring this out. I used to live in Ventura County when I had a ranch up there, all right? And we lived up near the mountainous areas that were highly dangerous, and the fire department was very zealous about getting the residents to clean up debris and fire hazards on their properties. We did, but there was public land that just went all to seed, and the fire department couldn't do anything about getting that clean. So the fire danger was from what happened on the public land that spread to the private land. So California is just a complete live mess, and I see Trump had already some months ago told them that they needed to start taking steps, which they could have, to do something about the threat. But unfortunately, the governor was more concerned about the ecological considerations rather than the safety considerations, and now there's a big mess. And Palisades, where a lot of the damage is occurring, is a very, very upscale community, very upscale. And I have a sneaking suspicion that some of the very influential people that I imagine Newsom, as Trump wants to put it, are going to have something to say to him, and he might listen to them, but something needs to be done for real. Anyway, that's my comment on what's going on out in California.
So, Judge, what did you think about Karen Bass and how she handled that situation?
Which particular situation?
The one when they was interviewing her and asking her about the fires, and she totally ignored those people.
Well, the problem with most of California is that they've got a select group, not in Sacramento so much, but in the San Francisco area, parts of Los Angeles, and Santa Barbara to an extent, where everything is driven by agenda. And if it's got to do with the practical aspects of government, and this would include Los Angeles, where Bass is, it's irrelevant because it doesn't push their particular narrative. So it gets ignored. Now, here's another instance of Well, let's put it this way. I helped Tom Bradley in his 3 campaigns to get his election as mayor, first elected black mayor of Los Angeles, way back when. And he had been a cop in the neighborhood where I grew up, and I know what he used to do then. And he was a totally different kind of person, hands-on guy, went out, looked around, was personally familiar with a lot, and his idea was objective and fair government for everybody, and he was ruthless about it. And he was able to an extent to control the police department because he had retired as a captain from LAPD, and he was, in fact, president of the Retired Officers Association, so he had some clout with them, and he really ran the city pretty well. Now, contrasting that with this woke bass thing, it doesn't look good. So I would just leave it at that. I don't think this is the kind of administration that would make Los Angeles a place I'd like to go back to. And I grew up there, and I was back when I was doing that show essentially for 15 years. So I don't want to go back there. The place is broke. They've spent too much money on their particular agenda items, which are not favorable for most of the geographic area of California. They're not favorable for the minority population. And they got bamboozled with Proposition 13 back in 1978. And the tax base has been screwed ever since because you cannot have a change in taxation without 2/3 of both the House and the Senate agreeing with it. So all they do is jack up fees, and they can change those. Like, for example, I had a Bentley, and every year I registered the Bentley, the prescribed registration was $4,200 a year, but they doubled the registration, so it was $8,400 a year to register your car. And that was just absolutely ridiculous. They had a thing on there where I was taxed $25,000 a year for the mental health fund. Damn, I could have adopted some damn fool and put him through on my medical insurance. That. See, this is the kind of mess California does.
Yep.
I had a situation, say this ranch I was talking about. I paid $49,000 a year in property tax, and I had like 25, 30 acres. And right down the roadway, there was a 92-year-old guy who had, get this, 11,000 acres, 10,000 herd of cattle, and he paid $482 a year for property taxes. He sold his interest to a Japanese developer who was going to put in a $35 million country club. And they let him have a life estate, so they got grandfathered in with him. So this $35 million country club on 11,000 acres pays the same $482 a year, property taxes. You see, they set that up. So California's a real live mess, and they're flat broke busted. They can't keep the civil courts open but 4 days out of the week. Mm-hmm. And that's in lieu of 3 because the judges were nice enough to donate a quarter of their salaries back to the institution so they could stay open a 4th day out of the week.
California is broke.
Wednesday, closed Thursday, and open Friday.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. And that thing about restitution they had, where the San Francisco, not restitution, reparations was a fraud. San Francisco put it in place. They had no way of paying for it. They have a state referendum thing that requires 25,000 signatures. As soon as somebody passed that, if the governor had signed it, it had gone into state law. there would have been a referendum on the ballot. It would have been defeated. And the problem is that in California, 54% of the population is Hispanic and 48% of the registered voters are Hispanic. In no way, no how is a reparations thing favoring black folk going to get past that group who doesn't see anything in it for themselves. So it was a big sham and a display. They knew it was going nowhere. There was no way to pay for it. So I would appreciate it. I mean, I grew up there. I guess I'd be entitled to my cut too. And I certainly last amount. They kept going after me. I haven't lived there in 12 years, but they keep attaching bank accounts saying I owe them taxes, and I got to pay 10, 12 grand a year to get lawyers and accountants to go in and get that set aside, and I get my money back, but I lose a whole chunk of it by paying out lawyer fees and the accountant fees. See, they're a mess.
Wow.
That's a real mess. That's a real mess. No question. Thank you for that, Judge.
Yeah, thank you.
And is there anything else that you wanted to speak to the audience about, since we can't see your wonderful face? And we love hearing, all of the, really important information that you have. It's really been, for me, it's been very, a learning
Travia,
experience just learning from you.
Let me say this.
before Judge, before you go, I would like your take, please, on Kamala, and because I always enjoyed your tweets when you put them out there. And
let me just go there first. Kamala Harris was bought for by George Soros, like he has paid for many a district attorney across the United States, and it has destroyed law and order in the inner cities and in cities in general. He owned her before she ran for district attorney in San Francisco. He paid for her along with Mnuchin and what happened with One West Bank to get her in as Attorney General for the state of California. What he was doing is One West Bank got 5,200 counts of indictments returned against it for mortgage foreclosure fraud. As soon as he got Kamala Harris elected as California Attorney General, she promptly dismissed all 5,200 counts of indictments against him.
Wow.
His One West Bank, and he sold the bank for $3.62 billion within 3 weeks of that happening.
Yeah.
And then he paid for finance to run for U.S. Senate, and he made a deal with the Biden bunch so that she got picked for vice president, a lot of money transferred to the Biden campaign, and probably, from what I read, in the 3, not 1 laptop situation with Hunter Biden, a lot of it went to him. So he thought he was buying himself a president of the United States that he had owned since he'd been U.S. Senator, that he had owned since he became California Attorney General, that he had owned before she became a San Francisco DA. So that's what that was about. And cutting to the chase, we don't need anybody in any position fronting off talking about they are representing us when they're actually just trying to get us to put them in office. The other thing is, I met her father, sit next to him, well, my wife did at the time, sat next to him for 2.5 hours, and we had a discussion. Based on her specific questions to him, he flatly denied having any black ancestry. He said he was exclusively Hindu with Irish ancestry as well. And his grandparents were from India.
Wow.
And his other grandparents were Irish, and they owned slaves, and he denied having any recent black or African ancestry. So her mother was Hindu, so how did she get to be a black woman, which was a flaw? And the whole 9 yards with that is there are a lot of Indians who have fronted off as black folks to get scholarships, grants, aids, financial assistance going through school or advantage in job situations, and I know some of them personally. When I started my show, there were 3, I thought, beautiful black sisters on the show. And I was surprised when it turned out that none of them were black. We were at a staff happy hour. And they said, Judge, you think we're black, don't you? I said, aren't you? No, we're Hindu.
Wow.
Damn. So I got upset. I said, wait a minute. You mean you don't have any black folk working on this show except me? What's the matter here?
What do you think about Michelle Obama not showing up for Jimmy Carter's funeral because they had it positioned to where she and Obama would have to sit next to Trump and Melania?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. That was just inappropriate. Look, let me say something about Jimmy Carter. He was the president at the wrong time, wrong place. And you have to take into context what brought it down. It was the lack of military preparedness and that debacle with them trying to pull off a military rescue of the hostages in Iraq. Iran had been run by a Shah, and Henry Kissinger, who was the Secretary of State for the United States under both Johnson and Nixon, called a meeting through the Shah of Iran to set up OPEC. And then after OPEC was set up, Kissinger, the U.S. Secretary of State, demanded that they create an oil crisis to generate massive inflation, to knock down the value of a lot of debts that various people had, including a lot of heavyweight investors in the United States. Now, I get this information because my former college roommate was a Gold 4 flunky at the time, and he wound up being Deputy Minister of Energy for Nigeria before maybe they put him on a wall and shot him. So what wound up happening is they tried to overthrow the Shah, and they figured that that was a bigger protection against communism, which they thought was spreading if they had a religious institution running the place and didn't understand the circumstances. So when Carter got caught up with this, the military fell flat. It was a debacle. Helicopters crashed in the desert. A lot of men got lost. And what was happening, see, is when Carter got elected in 1976, that was just 2 years after Vietnam wound down, 2.5 years. And that left America in a horrible state because nobody believed anybody. And there was that Nixon Watergate thing that just destroyed people's trust in the federal government that still hasn't been regained. Now, Carter himself is interesting. When he ran against Ronald Reagan and lost, he was saying that Ronald Reagan was this great war hero submarine captain. He had played the leading part as a submarine captain in a World War II propaganda movie called Run Silent, Run Deep. The tragedy of the thing is Jimmy Carter actually graduated first in his class from the Naval Academy, Annapolis. And he was captain of a nuclear attack submarine, and he did that Hunt the Red October business for real. Then he commanded a boomer, one of those nuclear missile ballistic submarines, a Polaris edition, one of the very first. And then he wound up being Commodore in charge of the Northeast Atlantic U.S. nuclear missile submarine fleet. Then he retired to farm peanuts, and he got elected at a time when the military was 2.5 years after the worst debacle in our history in Vietnam, where everybody was anti-military, including him. And we got dismissed because him to be defeated. So there were some problems up and down. But I actually had a chance to talk with this guy for 30 minutes at a conference one time. And he's the kind of guy you wouldn't mind sitting down at a bar drinking a beer with. Very convivial and all right guy, you know, type of person that could command me. but it was just the wrong time, wrong day.
Who's at front door?
And we had a bad down. So I'm sorry for that. But one of the things that he did do is engineer a peace treaty between Israel and Egypt. Menachem Begin was president of Egypt, and Anwar Sadat was president of Egypt, and Menachem Begin was the prime minister for Israel, and he brokered them coming up with a peace treaty. So now we have military bases in Egypt, and you see how well we cooperate with Israel, whether you like it or not. But in other words, it was a brilliant stroke, but he's very seldom given credit for that. Now, those are the things that he did do, and he's a pretty decent guy, and he did a whole lot of work he didn't have to do after he got out of office, which is more than I can say for a lot of people. And I would say that. So contrasting Jimmy Carter with Michelle's husband, Barack Obama, I would have to say that had Jimmy Carter been the president when Barack Obama was president, Carter would have been one of the greats. But he came along at the wrong time and under the wrong circumstances. So he wasn't. He was a one-termer, just like George Herbert Walker Bush. And he was a one-termer as contrasted to a two-yearer with Jerry Ford, who took over as vice president when he was minority whip in the House after Spiro Agnew, who was the U.S. vice president, turned in his resignation and got indicted in Maryland and under the federal system and served penitentiary time. Jerry Ford came in as vice president. He hooked up an agreement with Nixon to pardon him when Nixon resigned. And the country was suffering from a malaise from that debacle in 1974 when Ford took over for 2 years until 76. So it had not recovered, and it was a real live mess. And then contrasting George Herbert Walker Bush one term with Carter one term, it's interesting. They named probably the most capable nuclear attack submarine, the Jimmy Carter, which was a Seawolf class, fantastic weapon after him, and he commanded nuclear submarines. And they named the last aircraft carrier the U.S. commissioned the George Bush after George Bush. And he does hold the distinction his miserable son does not, and that was because George Herbert Walker Bush was in fact the youngest combat pilot in the U.S. military in World War II. He was 19 piloting a torpedo bomber when the Japanese shot him down in action. So he got rescued, but that's an interesting parallel between administrations. But that said, I think it was not very polite for her to decline to go because of that.
Right. I thought it was just a ghetto decision. Like, you were first lady, you have a role. Every other first lady was there prior to you that's still alive. So what makes you think that you can use your own selfish personal, reasons to, show disrespect to a former president? And I just thought that was a ghetto decision.
And look here, he's been the only president in the last 120-something years that has not had a scandal against him for messing around with some woman, doing something that was cheating, allegedly, doing something that was inappropriate, allegedly. He may have made some bad judgment calls, but nobody ever accused him of dishonesty. So what the devil is she up there for when her husband is so subject to these same kind of calls against him?
I'm wondering what Obama and Trump were talking about. I'm thinking they were making fun of Joe Biden, but you never know.
I'm thinking he was telling Trump, "Oh Lord, please don't take me down when you step in the office."
My opinion, one of the worst scoundrels we've had in my lifetime, and I've been through President Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, and this fool Biden. All of them I've been alive when they've been president. And the worst of the bunch has got to be this idiot Biden. And I remember when I was doing an intern thing, I saw this racist dog get introduced by Spinach from Mississippi, Eastland from Mississippi, Byrd, former Grand Dragon of the KKK for the United States, George Wallace, Faubus, who stood in the door of Little Rock High School in the 1950s and said, as long as I'm governor of the state of Arkansas, no Negroes will attend Little Rock High School. Well, President Eisenhower sent the 101st Airborne down there and quickly corrected that situation. But they introduced him as the next great white hope in politics. And he talked about how he knew the Negro. And at that point in time, everybody was calling themselves black or Afro-American. See, so he talked about, in fact, what he said, and he kept repeating it in one form or another, was Negro children are like roaches. Once they infest the school, you can't get them out. And Negro men are animals who turn the streets into jungles. And he promised he and Eastland were going to see that they got put in zoos where they belong so they couldn't cause any trouble. He wasn't successful then, but he was shortly. And a lot of what's wrong with the criminal justice system on the federal level is the result of legislation that he, Eastland, and Byrd sponsored. One of the worst of which is that there is no longer federal parole or probation for anything other than the most minor offenses. And you have to serve damn near 96% of your sentence before you're subject to release. So if you get 5 years and 60 months, then you wind up being under federal scrutiny for 58 of those months with good and honor time, so you get put in a halfway house at 56 months. So it is what it is. And a lot of the procedures we're feeling the impact of right now. He helped introduce the legislation. One of the dirtiest of which is an allowance for a U.S. attorney to knowingly file cases against someone with sure knowledge that they could not get a conviction that would stick just for the purpose of destroying that person economically or so inconveniencing them that they could not be a threat to some agenda that somebody was trying to push. And that's what they did with Trump.
Interesting.
Whether you like him or not. The problem is, and we need to understand this as black folk, is that you can go rah, 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 our side won, but if it sets up the wrong precedent, I guarantee you that in 10 years it'll come back to bite you. Be careful what you ask for, you just might get it. And see, when they start authorizing lawfare, that would really impact minorities in this country very negatively if the script got flipped. So with this, I would say be very careful when you assess something and put your emotions on the shelf and deal with tangible results. In other words, don't put your eggs in a basket that just feel good. Put them in one that says this will make it better for me, my people, my community, and my family tomorrow or day after tomorrow. And we need to start understanding that. Stop thinking with your damn emotions. One other problem I'd like to bring up is, unlike 50, 60 years ago, when our heroes were people who actually did something. They were soldiers, they were leaders, they were people that changed the law, they were people that put their lives on the line to make things better. Now our heroes are athletes, dancers, singers, and actors who, if they got life off the face of the earth, wouldn't make one damn bit of difference in what happened to us day after tomorrow.
Facts.
Yep.
All facts. All facts.
Look at us. We have Al Sharpton is our spokesman. Chicken eating George. And we have Cory Booker, handkerchief head rainbow boy.
Right?
And we've got, look at this group of people we've got that are held up to us as leaders.
Beyonce.
We're worried about Diddy, and we're worried about this, that, and the other somebody, and we're worried about somebody's shooting percentage in the NBA or somebody's rushing percentage in the NFL, and it doesn't make a damn bit of difference.
Right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Judge. We definitely appreciate you. We're definitely going to work this out and get you so you can, we can see your amazing face next time. So thank you so much for joining us. And I'll make sure that we all keep in touch and we can do this again.
Yes, ma'am. And the old man is feeling good. She gave him a compliment. Yes, Judge. You'll call me again because I'm on the rain. Yes.
All righty, Judge. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Woo, my getting tired on that phone.
We got to zoom in there next time.
To add on what he was saying, also remember, Joe Biden said he didn't want his kids going to school with those jungle bunnies.
Yep.
He said he hoped Haiti falls below sea level and sinks. So he had a lot of little nasty stuff to say that was very racist. So why all of a sudden is he the other black people champ?
Exactly.
But
he was
they
never the black people's champ.
They want to call the conservatives racist, but whatever he had to say, was okay. It was all good. But we are the ones that's racist.
That's because they had the basketball players backing him, the rappers backing him, all these clowns who wanted their friends out of prison backing him. That's the only reason why that went over like that. And then a lot of people don't think for themselves in these, project areas. They go to school and they're trained not to think for themselves. So when you see, like the judge was saying, your favorite celebrity, you don't need, half the time you don't even know what they're backing. Oh, vote on this bill. All right, so-and-so in the NFL said it. But do you know what that bill is about? Oh, I don't need to know because he's from the NFL. Exactly, he's from the NFL. All they do is fucking play sports. They don't read. They don't do shit else. Why the hell would you even want to vote for something because somebody told you to do it?
Black people have an ignorance problem when it comes to free thinking, because from the very moment that Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
You're not black.
That should have been the tipping point where every black person should have given him the royal salute. So
now let Trump say something stupid about black people or whatever, something similar to that. Let Trump say something like that, and here the fuck we go.
I mean,
he's a Nazi. He's a racist. He's a rapist. He's a thing.
And
it's
you
like
are
they're triggered.
Exactly.
They're so fucking triggered as soon as the media says that. Oh, we think Trump said this, or we heard him whisper it. There goes America. Oh my God, he's a Nazi. He's a rapist. He's a racist. He's this. He's that. Google done took so many of his photos off with him and his ex-girlfriend who was black. Him with Al Sharpton and the other clown begging for money for the NAACP. Where the fuck are those photos at? Jesse Jackson. Where are those photos at for Trump? Where are they? They took him down. Oh, he's this, he's that. He was on the Epstein list. Where the F is the proof? If any of this shit was proof, trust me, they would have blasted it all over social media, and all these people would have been coming out saying he did this, he did that with facts and proof, but they don't have anything. They don't have shit on him. They're mad because the Americans that pay taxes and the people who it's a rightful birthright, it's your birthright if you were born here, that money that you're working for is entitled to you and your family. They fucked around with the economy and they found out everything they said about Trump. It just backfired on them. The racist shit didn't cool over well because so many black people in Chicago, New York, and California voted for Trump when they seen all those illegals bust in to those five-star hotel, but they were denied simple medications and braces and insulin for their kids because they made 25 cents more at Taco Bell. So everything the Democrats did, to try to play the American people, they fucked around and they found out Trump is your president, he's my president, he's everybody's president. Get
Whoop,
get
there
on
it
Get
is.
the fuck over it. The liberals need to get over it. He's your
Whoop,
president.
there
He's
it
our
is.
president. They can jump on out if they don't want to be in America anymore. That way, but don't go to Canada because Canada is now this way with America.
Well, I mean, and the racist, all of that, him being a racist, he's actually the only president, white president, that is not on record saying nigger.
And he did
Right.
So
the first step. He did the First Step Act in California. The AG clown, Kamala Harris, was fighting him every single step of the way not to push that. He still, if it wasn't for him, nobody would be getting out of prison early with that program. It was Kamala who was the AG at the time, or the DA or something like that. Her and that clown Newsom, and they kept fighting. But there's so much on the minority side. They want to help minorities, but all you did was help lock them up and keep them in
That's
there
what
longer
you did.
when they
And destroy their lives and destroy their homes
and their
and lock
families,
them up.
everything. Yep,
Everything.
yep.
Everything. And that's why she lost.
and I mean, she was pissed to turn around and look and see Obama and Trump just cackling it up. If you watch her, she was like, and then she let the exhale out because she just couldn't fathom that she turned around and heard them laughing. And they were laughing loud enough for her to hear it, to turn around and actually witness it. So I just think her career should be done. Her continuing to say, the fight isn't over. We're still going to keep fighting. What are you fighting for? We don't
Not
want
a
to
damn
fight.
thing.
Right. We don't want to fight with anything that you are fighting for. What you say is good for America. We have told you we don't believe you. So
Let them
what
try.
and her being up front with her husband and Biden sleep and GW Bush sleep. I mean, they were both sleep within the first 10, 15 minutes.
Somebody need to push the play button. Push the play button for Biden. Recharge the batteries. Push
I'm
play.
There's
Wake them
no
up.
such thing. And GW's wife, her face is always the same because she's had her face pulled three ways from sideways. So she's got the same permanent face on no matter when you see her. But it was a mess today, and I'm glad Trump actually came out as the reigning factor during a moment which should not have been politicized. But this is where we are.
Right. I think as Black people, um, in our hearts, we believe in family. We believe in God. We believe in creating generational wealth. And all of that is all about being a conservative and proud of who you are. So for someone to say that you are racist because you are a Black conservative, I want you to know personally from me, you could go straight to hell because what you got to say does not matter to me at all. And I have actually no fucks to give. I'm talking about zero fucks to give about what you say when it comes to calling us a Black racist.
I have to admit to something. So I needed a part. We were shooting a music video, so I needed a part, and only Walmart had it. So I was wearing my Make America Great Again hat, the Elon version, the black and silver. I walked into Walmart, and I kid you not, this Black woman with her 7 children tried to jump me in Walmart. she first she looked at me and she said, "Oh hell no!" I was like, I didn't know she was talking to me at first, but then she's like, "I know you're not coming up in here with that. Don't even start it because I'm about to cuss you out." I was like, "Are you really talking to me about a hat?" She was like, "Nah, you can't. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful." Here comes the Walmart employee who was definitely a Trump supporter. Basically escorted her and her 7 children out of the store. This was 5 days ago.
You should have
So
said, bitch, finish wiping that EBT with my tax dollars and shut
I'm
the
out
fuck
on
up.
bond. I'm
Thank
out on
you.
bond, and I cannot go to jail behind some ratchet woman with 7 children. I
I said you
cannot.
should have said it. You didn't have to put
Yeah,
hands on her. You should have said, bitch, quit. Keep on swiping that EBT
she
card because
has
that
7
money's coming
kids.
out of my taxpayer dollar.
She has 7 kids, and
Oh
they all
my
would have
God.
jumped in.
Listen,
So I'm not trying
the
to get
guy
you to
right
get
here,
a
look at
Walmart.
this comment, y'all. Tyler said, I got choked by an old black lady on election day because
Wow.
I voted for Trump.
Oh God, these
They
people.
are out there and they are serious. Like they get triggered by things like hacks.
Anything,
That lets you know
anything Trump
they have
related.
no contribution to society, because if you are
None.
contributing, you're not going to get teed off behind a hat
Yeah.
that anybody's wearing.
Right.
So these are
Right.
people who are malfunctioning in society that need anything because things aren't going well for them. They need anything to give them a reason to unleash that black anger that I know I'm not deserving. I'm not getting in the middle of that, because what would I look like? Because the cameras would all come out. What would I
Yep.
look like fighting
Oh,
a woman
yes.
and her 7 children
Yep.
in
Right.
Walmart?
Hey, soon as we got on the show, it would have been the first comment.
Well, they better get ready to lose their mind because
Right?
January 20th, guess what's happening? Like I said, he's my president and he's your
Yes.
president. I'm going to end
Is.
up making a little song about that for the liberals.
And
It's
I'm
going to be a
hoping
juvenile
everybody is coming
background.
to the inaugural. I hope you all will be there to witness the biggest political comeback in American history, because I will be there front and center with my MAGA head to toe, bling, bling, bling. So
You,
I'm just hoping everybody will come out and support this man and the work that he's put in to get back into the Oval to change the direction and the course of this country.
you know what? I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my tickets to get emailed, my verification to get emailed back to me for my 2 tickets.
Okay,
I'm like,
because
what?
you're in
I'm
California.
like, what's taking so long?
Yeah,
I'm
you're
like,
in
what's the
California.
problem?
Your odds are good.
You know what? I got somebody sent me something when I was in Arizona at the AmFest thing, and they're like, "Hey, are you going to the inauguration?" And then I'm like, or the rally and all these other they have the
Balls.
dinner and the
Yeah.
ball and all that stuff. And I said, well, I don't know. And then they were like, here, let me send you this. So I signed up. I signed up for it. And then
Oh, okay,
a couple of
great.
days ago, I emailed the people and I'm like, hey, I'm getting kind of worried now because I haven't got, my confirmation for my 2 tickets. And I'm like, is there a phone number to call or something? Because I knocked so many doors and was a part of 2 different recalls in 2 different states. My butt needs to be there to
Right?
see my president.
That's right.
I need to be
Everybody needs to
there.
support. Everybody needs to support, and them trying to throw their fake Martin Luther King rally to just try and take light off of the biggest comeback in our history for a president. I think that's, again, black ignorance. We have a black ignorance problem when it comes. If that was Obama coming in and white people decided to have a
Yep.
KKK rally, you're
Yep.
going to flip out. So, this behavior that comes from lack of education.
Yeah.
I would just say
Ignorance.
generational
Trained
idiotic.
mindset. It's a trained mindset.
Ignorance. Okay, we got a little clip.
Governor, you got a second?
Oh, that
Governor,
reject.
here, Governor. That was my daughter.
He's running.
Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I
It
don't
doesn't-
believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why is
call.
the
He's
president not taking your
lying.
call?
He got busted.
Because it's not
He was
going
like,
through.
can I
Why?
hear your conversation?
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now.
It's not hard for him to call him. That's
To immediately get reimbursements.
mean, they're all related in some
individual
way up there.
assistance, and to help
Him, Nancy
Yeah.
Pelosi, his
I'm
wife.
so sorry. Especially
Call the
for your
other
daughter.
number. Shit.
I have 4 kids losing to school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild. We're getting
Why
the
was there no
resources to do
water
it.
in the hydrants,
That's all
Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be.
Right.
To be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To fill
everything
the
I can.
hydrants.
He's gonna
I
brush
fill
his
them up
fucking gel
personally,
over
you
his
know
hair.
that.
That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna brush
I
his
would
hair.
fill up the hydrants myself.
I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see the Do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including
I cannot
making
with that,
sure
man.
people
I'd
are
like to
safe.
make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're doing? Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact information?
Right there.
He
That
lied
prick.
to her face, said he was talking to the president, and when she put him on blast, he was
Right?
like, oh, that's why I'm moving around. No, you were walking to your truck, and she busted and ran up on you and made you try to prove what you were saying to her, and you came out as a full-blown, in-your-face lie.
That's
And
why he will never be president.
that should tell every person in California who is going to cast their vote in the next election to get rid of that lying sack of shit, because that woman was in pain.
Yep.
He lied to her face. That
Yep.
basically shows he has no regard for her or any other citizen of the state in which they elected him to be, governor. So
Nobody elected him.
at that right there will be a monumental campaign video
Yeah.
for his opponent,
Yeah.
because this is going to show the dishonesty, the lack of care, the lack of
Yep.
trust. He is going to go out the window because of that video. And that woman asked him to prove it, and he basically
Yep.
turned around and said, oh, I'm moving around, I'm losing signal. No, you were moving right to your truck.
Exactly.
And she
Going to his truck to get some water to drink. That's what he was doing.
I mean, just crazy.
Cleaned out and protected. You got to take care of the floors. The floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem. So I know everybody's looking at that, to that end, and it's going to work out. It's cleaned out.
She should have talked to Trump, because Trump would have been honest with her.
Yes.
That's who she should have ran up to, but she probably voted for Gavin Newsom, so she didn't feel like she could do that.
Well, they all know now here in California that there's no water. What else do these people have to show you? There's no water. The mayor's speechless. The governor can't push the speaker button. I mean, come on, this is not. We need some resources here in California. Elon Musk, you said you're tired of this clown. Well, guess what? Everybody is tired of this clown too. No, we don't have the money and the resources and the political power here. So, I mean, I know the Trump administration is day one, the border. Yes, I agree with that. That is important. But also California is crumbling. It's in crisis, not just with the economy, with the fires, but there's a lot of things that's going on under the radar that the news is not reporting about. This state is a sanctuary state for pedophiles. Illegal pedophiles and legal pedophiles. They're erasing the Megan's Law. They're erasing the sex offender registry. Yeah, we need a lot of help here, and it all starts at the top. It's Newsom, Rob Bonta, Scott Weiner, and all the rest of them. We have a new DA. I'm praying to God that he does his homework and research on the Menendez brothers. Let them out, because, like I said, pedophilia is a problem here. The children are not believed. The mayors, senators, nobody's doing anything about it, but just building more laws, telling the schools you got to be quiet when the kids come and say that, something's going on at home, and vice versa. If something happens to you at school, they're telling the kids you got to be quiet. Don't go talk to your parent about, us touching you or this, that, and the other. I mean, California, it really does need some help. I hope, Lavern, that you got some politicians that watch your show regularly, and they can just fact check the heck out of what I'm saying about what's going on in California.
Hey, y'all, hold up. We got a response right here. Play that clip, G.
Here we are with thousands of acres and billions of dollars every year. It's the same thing every year. And they don't want to clean up their forests because they have environmental problems in cleaning it up. It should be the opposite, because you're going to lose your forests. You're losing them. But it's costing our country hundreds of billions of dollars because of incompetence in California. So the people, I'm speaking now for the people of California, they don't want to see this happen. They're getting destroyed. And it's hurting our budgets. It's hurting our country. And they just better get their act together. Here we are with thousands.
And I think that's right, because people will say, "Oh, this was climate change." No, it's not
Right,
climate change.
right.
You know,
That's
you
what they're
wanted to
trying to say. They
right. You
already
wanted to
trying to
put
say that.
exactly. You wanted to put 5-year-old brush before your citizens and your constituents, and now your constituents have nothing, and you're out there on scene lying to them in their face. And Trump out there being presidential as he always is, you know, even though a day ago he told Gavin Newsom to resign. Look at him putting those differences to the side, getting out there and doing what will be his problem as the incumbent, or as the incoming president. And so this is, you know, we have to look at, they don't know what to do. I still think there's something behind it, because now we don't just have the Palisades on fire. We have Hollywood Hills on fire. And that's where your big time celebrities live. I have clients who live there, and and it's brush all through there, because you're in the hills, and in those hills are more trees and more brush. So, you know, it'll be an interesting situation. Trump is going to have to come to the rescue, because these people, you know, it's proven that they don't know how to govern. They don't, you know, move to, you know, make sure that things are done in the best interest of their constituents. They're actually protecting their big donors and your people who want to worry about environmental and climate change issues. And now California is being burnt to the ground.
Right, because it's obviously that they don't care about their
They
constituents.
don't.
Their constituents' lives do not matter to them. So that's why you all should stop supporting people that do not support you.
Did
So
Joey's wife
anyway,
divorce him because he was pretending to be a woman online? Who's Joey?
ask him. Ask, why don't you ask Joey that? Why are you sending me that? I
Oh,
seriously I seriously doubt that Joey was pretending. Anyway, we already had that show. You late. Where in the hell was you at?
where was
Since you
I at? Because I missed it too. What happened?
where in the fuck he was at? We already had that damn show. But
Okay.
anyway, on to what we were saying. We coming to the close of this show because it's already been 2 hours. And I would like to thank Judge Joe Brown for coming on and sharing that information with us today. And Leticia, she had to drop out. And Trevian, you can tell them where to find you at, of course.
Thank you again, Lavern, for having me. You all can find me on X at Free Trevian. I am Trevian Kutti on all other socials, and you can also support me at treviankutti.com.
Okay, so people, I think that's about it today. And I would like to thank you all. It's over 3,000 people on the show. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And we'll see you next week, the same place, same time, right here on X, also on Rumble. And don't forget, you can also cash out me at my Cash App information is right there at the bottom to help support this show. So until next time, people, be safe in California. You know, we're praying for you guys, and we know it's rough, but just fight for what you believe in, and definitely, you know, get rid of Karen Bass and get rid of those elected officials that are not serving you but are serving themselves. That's the important thing here. So until next week, see you all next Thursday, same
Thank you,
place,
guys.
same time, right here on X. And thank you all for joining us. And once again, Happy New Year. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Hi, I'm Lavern Spicer, and I'm asking for your support today. Thousands of Americans struggle to get food, and they wonder where their next meal is going to come from. But I'm here, been working with them for over 25 years to provide food to people that need it the most, right here at our community food bank. So today, I'm asking you for your support. Please provide a contribution to help make a real difference in our community and to help us feed people. And you can do it right here. Donate today on Cash App. And you will see the link above.